unfortunately I couldn't find a place to live in. So
Some of the people were somehow happy with their lives. What about Alaa Issa? Was he also happy with his life?
I got a chance to study at the American University of Iraq Suleimani. I got a scholarship.
Welcome to KCM podcast. As we have been doing our podcast about most of the important topics after the Yazidi genocide by ISIS. Now we have a guest who is be talking about the youth initiatives in general and Yazidi initiatives in specific. Now we have Mr. Alaa. Mr. Alaa, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure being here as a guest for your podcast.
Mr. Alaa, we want to know you more, as people are curious about you, and we want to know about you a little bit more.
Okay, let me see how much I know about myself.
Sure.
I think a little, but it's fine. I can go with it. I am Alaa. I am from Sinjar Khanasur, and I'm a fresh graduate. I have recently graduated from the American University of Iraq Suleimani, Energy Engineering Department. So this is the little that I know about myself.
Thank you so much.
Far.
This information were very helpful.
Thank you. Great.
Mr. Alaa, after the genocide, like most of us were affected by many sectors, many things were happening in our personal life. I am sure that you were one of those people who were also suffered from the genocide. We would be happy to listen to your personal story about since the genocide happened to the SD people. Also, we want to listen from you, how did you experience and how was your experience at that time?
Without doubt, every single person of this community has been through a series of difficult times, as a result of the genocide. And as being part of this community, I have also been through so many difficulties. As we know, there was a campaign, a genocidal campaign against this community that aimed to eradicate people of this community, the cultures, the stories, and everything in this community was subjected to eradication. And so people have lost their loved ones. Many people have been kidnapped, tortured. People have suffered in a ways that cannot be described by words.
Sure.
Yeah, and when it comes to us, it's somehow not fair to compare our sufferings with those who were been through all these difficulties. It's just in education, regarding the education, we have been through difficult times and through difficult situation, and also in a term of leaving after the consequence after the genocide, but it's still too simple compared to those people who were greatly suffered. For me, as many other Yazidi students from Sinjar who found difficulties continuing their education after the genocide,
Mr. Alaa, I was ask you the question about the consequences of the genocide, that it was not only education. There were some other consequences about psychology. Maybe some people, they just migrated from Iraq, and some of them, they are still in Greece. They have been even in Europe. So in addition of other economic, maybe some of them, they just lost their lives. So regarding other consequences, beside of the education, how do you think about it? Was the genocide something very, I can tell you, made the people to be somehow move from like a time to another time or something like that. So can you tell me somehow the difference between it and how that impacted to the people, to the community, in the way that we can cover all the sectors on all the other things like this, like beside of the education?
Yeah, as I have mentioned, and you have also like stated, like there have been like great consequences. People have been through traumas and psychological impacts, mental illness, and migration, like displacement. It's just like it was an attempt to eradicate and erase like an entire community who has a culture, who has traditions, who has relations, a style of life, who are living like in a certain geography. Like it's like really difficult to imagine when this community was all were subject like to these crimes. So no doubt, like 10 years, 20 years, and even maybe like 15 years after the genocide, people will still like have the consequence. It's gonna greatly impact their mentality. Like a new generation would be like with different mentality, would burn from the consequences, from the sorrow of these sufferings. Yeah,
definitely. So like life of the people before 2014, despite that we were that young and we were not that like old, we didn't have that much of knowledge about life, how what it was going and everything. We were just studying at the school and the stuff. Some of the people were somehow happy with their lives. What about Alaa Issa? Was he also happy with his life? How was his life at that time? So, I mean, it was very complicated to just like move from a happy life then to a life that was full of death, atrocities, ISIS, terrorism, and these crimes. So, how that affected you, like psychologically?
Yeah, as you have mentioned, like prior 2014, we were like living a simple life. The style of life in Sinjar and in this area, it was simple. Like we didn't have any idea about like majority of us about the outside world, the style of life. Like people were living in small villages. They would attend gatherings. They would visit their relatives in festivals, in Eids, and it was like any Yazidi person who was satisfied with this style of life. Like we didn't have access to technology, to modernity, to a lot of tools that we do have currently, but people didn't wish for more. So that was the point. Like the mentality was different. Like they were satisfied with what they had. But after the genocidal campaign, everything like turned upside down. Like yeah. So people like just found themselves in a facing death, literally. Like yeah. So many people have been trapped in mountains. Many people have been killed, and I cannot talk about. I don't want to dive down into too many details. I know, like we all like mentally, we spiritually, we feel like how burden it was. So for me, of course, it affected me significantly, and I didn't believe that time. I was like saying, or I was telling myself, like there should be like a divine power at that time who would save like Yazidi people. Like how could they be trapped in such a place, and they are surrounded by all these terrorists, and they are facing death, literally. So I was telling myself, no way, like there should be like divine power who would rescue them. So that's like the feeling I had the morning of the genocide. Yeah.
Sure, like people were just saying that, like they didn't think that they will just be like survive from the genocide. They thought that that's it. The genocide came and they came to kill us, and they were not even thinking that they will have even a small hope.
Yeah.
People were saying that this is our final day, this is our last day. That's
exactly. I agree. Yeah.
We all will be killed.
Yeah.
People were just leaving, and they said that okay, we don't know, we will just be like united again with our family or not. So were you also like separated with your family at that time from your family?
At the time I was with my family prior the attacks on Sinjar. We left like the area, and but still like our hearts were here, and my grandfather and grandmother, they were my uncle, all my relatives, all my people, friends, like everyone was here. Like it's right, like we were safe from being killed, but at the same time we didn't feel like we were alive, like since like our thoughts, our hearts were with our people, and we were like it was just difficult times.
It was very difficult. I can feel and I can see
exactly,
in your eyes that it was very like heartbreaking. Mr. Alaa, I would also want to ask about your study. What did you study? We all, like, some of us, we wanted to study in a specific department that we were wishing to get it, and after that some difficulties were happening in our life, and some barriers were happened, like we were not able because some of the genocide. Did you also study the department that you wished, or somehow it was different?
So if I talk about a little bit about my my journey with the education, it was not easy, especially like after 2014. I remember like after all these events, like I wanted to continue my studying, but we moved to Suleymania. I went to a couple of the schools. There were very few Arabic schools there, and nobody would accept to have me as a student there, because they were asking me to have my certificates from the prior class in order to accept me. But I was telling them, how can I have my certificates if our areas are controlled by ISIS and nobody can get there? But unfortunately I couldn't get a chance, like after like many attempts. So I was like somehow disappointed, like 1 month passed after the school was open, but I couldn't like have access to education. So I moved to Sheikh Khan looking for an Arabic school, hoping that I would find a place. I did, but unfortunately I couldn't find a place to live in. So I still like couldn't continue my education after this attempt also.
Like at the time that you moved to Sheikh Khan to stay there, and there was no like a specific place to live.
I found a school, but I couldn't find a place to live in. I wanted to rent a place or a small apartment.
Like I would ask about, like, it was like it should be very hard for you at that time and difficult that you were in the first months of like after the genocide, and you were wishing to study, and there was no that much of opportunity for you just to have everything being provided. How was that? Like how you were thinking about it, about these things, that yes, right, the genocide happened to us, but there is something that still is pending, that we want to continue our studying. So how was that? Like, I can tell you that it was very important, but I want you to also tell us, like, how was it?
So I told you, like, when the genocide campaign happened, like, I was thinking, like, we didn't have a power to defend ourselves, so there should be like a divine power that must rescue us or save us. It was just, and it was difficult for me to accept that idea, like
Yes.
our that happened to us and we are defenseless.
Yes.
So at that time, like the idea of continuing my education was the only thing I was thinking about, because I said, since we are powerless, we cannot defend ourselves in this state, like what we can do as a young people. Like I thought, like education could be a key, like we have to we have to try it no matter what's the cost to get a chance.
Yes.
So that was like the only motivation I had at that time, like 2-3 months after the genocide. Like I was thinking, after I accepted, like we are defenseless, we are powerless, we can't defend ourselves against any attack, then education could be a key, like open many doors to us to not necessarily fight with weapons, but like with knowledge.
Yes, definitely, Mr. Alaa. Then after the genocide happened, that's it. So you are unable just to like find some solution in the first months, or maybe you can like get to rescue some of the people who were just kidnapped by ISIS, or maybe just you can cancel some of the murder like operations by ISIS. So that's it. The genocide happened then, but we shouldn't like stop our life. We shouldn't give up. That's it. We will just continue.
Exactly.
So like I think it was a very good choice that you had it in your life, and it really helped you. So and then after that you do study the department that you wished, or was it a different one?
So I finished high school, and the journey was full of barriers and difficulties.
Yes, it's very hard to broken.
Yeah, I know, like, but at that time we didn't feel all these difficulties. I mean, because we were hoping for something that was bigger than any barriers. We thought like we were going through the process smoothly, and thankfully after I finished high school, I got a chance to study at the American University of Iraq Soleimani. I got a scholarship, and it was a merit scholarship. It was offered to students whose area had been under attack and who suffered like from war and displacement. So and also that was one of the credits. The other credits, like students who got 90 and above, they got the scholarship. And so I could like these two conditions were satisfied, and I could get a chance to study there. And after I moved there, I decided to study energy engineering.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
something new in the community.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the scholarship that you mentioned was a very like opportunity for the students at that time. Exactly. So were you the only student, Yazidi students, that got the scholarship, or there were some other students who were somehow lucky as you?
Actually, we were a group of around I can say 10 people who got the scholarship. And so like most of my colleagues, they choose different majors. One of them studied medical lab. Some others, they studied civil engineering. But this major was new, so me and another friend of mine, like we decided to study that major, not because it was new, but there were like some other important aspects with this major, like as we know, like energy, like is the main factor of life, like power. We need power all the times. We need power to drive cars, to have electricity at home, to run the machines. So all of these things, they work on the power. So I just wanted to see like how these science work, the science of energy. And the other interesting thing about it, it was like it significantly focused on the renewable part, like how to get clean sources of energy, like solar energy, wind energy, and to get energy from dams.
Yes, I would come to the question, but before that, I would ask, like, the energy engineering is something is very new, as I said before.
Yeah.
Like, how was that department was related to the Yazidi cause, or maybe Yazidi genocide by ISIS, and how that made you to, like, definitely, or I mean directly or immediately just go to this department. And my other question is gonna be about the how this department is related to our region, like Sinjar.
Yeah.
So of course, like, there should be something behind that, or Alaa Issa, he just chose this department. So what was the relationship between it?
Okay, so great. The relation when it comes to like the relationship between my major and our community, like as we know, like the picture that many people outside the Sinjar have created in their heads, like they think of them like they only work as a workers, like construction workers, like especially in Kurdistan, like most of our people, they were working as a construction workers, or others they were like a farmers. Studying these different majors, like it's also like a chance to show like we as a Yazidi people, and we can or as a people from Sinjar community, we can study any major. We can we can be any like any other talented people in their areas. Like we are not like workers and farmers. Like if we get the chance, and hopefully we will create the chances for ourselves, like we are able to study like the most difficult parts of science. And so this is one of the point, like to shift that picture they have created for a long time. The other point is like so this major is interesting if we implement it in the future in our region. Like we have like Sinjar like has a mountain that that its length is about like around 80 kilometers, like and it's very high at some point. So in the future, if we can install like wind turbines, that would generate significant amount of energy. And also having solar panels, it's going to be a great business here, and it's also going to be a very clean source of energy for the people of the area. And so it's related to us in many aspects.
Definitely. Regarding your first point about the talented people in Sinjar, like we can see and we can notice that Yazidi people are very talented. Someone with his, someone in art, someone in music, someone in language.
Exactly.
And I think it's very interesting that people are just having these talents that they can show with their talents, and they can like make people, they just like being surprised about the talent. Like I mean, they just make people like speechless about the talents of the community.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would say that these things are very important, as you were saying about the like energy in our community and in our region. So like beside of your education, beside of the studying that you were going at the university, were there some events, seminars, the stuff that you were participating, like in terms of supporting, advocating, like doing some stuff in your personal life, something you was related to your specialization, maybe some, like, did you do something like that after you graduated, maybe?
So during my journey at university, actually before graduation, like I was trying always to be part of every possible events, of course, those that were within my interests. And I can mention like one of them. In the last 2 years in the university, like I had a club. We created a club in the university. It was titled Philosophy Club. Since this was like something I was really interested in. And so during my early years of the university, I discovered like by chance I had some classes with social science professors, like, and I found out like this is like a very important topic, and because it shows like how to behave, how to react in a daily life with your friends, families, and how to be how to like or to be a more just person. And there are like too many things related to philosophy. I don't want to deeply talk about it. So it pulled my attention, and gradually it drove me to create a philosophy club at the university. And we were having weekly sessions, and these sessions were taught by a professor, and students from different departments, they would have a chance to attend this lesson and discuss different topics. And one of the other programs that I participated in is called ILIP. So it's funded by...
ILIP should be very important and very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Iraqi Young Leader Exchange Program. So the abbreviation stands for this name. And it's funded by the U.S. Embassy of Baghdad, and they choose people, around 100 people from Iraq every year, to be trained by U.S. trainers in order to get like leadership skills. And so that was also one of the events I was
Mr. Alaa, thank you so much for your effort. These things were very like helpful and important. We will come to our main topic, which is about the youth initiatives.
I've been waiting for.
Yes, youth initiatives in general, and about the Yazidi youth initiatives that we have been seeing recently, that some of them that they are doing great. So what skills do you have in the initiatives, and what thoughts do you have on like youth initiatives? What do you think about it? Do you believe in them, by the way?
Well, I think like if I can just start answering this question by a quote, like in Plato's Republic, there was a dialogue between Socrates and another person. Like he was asking Socrates, what's a good city? How can we build a good city? Then he answered the question by starting from individuals. Like he said, like the city is made up from individuals, so we have to start from the smallest thing, like the building block of, for example, if we look at this building or this room, like if we want to build a better quality, in a better quality, we have to start with the smallest building block. So we would start with the bricks. If it's made up of a good material, then so we can start working in that way in order to get the full quality. So we as individuals, we are the building blocks of communities. Like especially youths are the main interest or the main part of it. Like so we as a youth, if we try to like be more disciplined, to have principles, to start from ourselves, like we can do too many changes. I cannot promise like the changes would happen over a night, but it's just like a process. It needs effort, time, work. So it may take years until we find like the change of an initiative would take a place. And coming back to the question, like so there has been a lot of initiatives for the last decade, and our youths, like they are actively participating, or they are doing many interesting projects. Like some of them, like they are trying to preserve the heritage, the culture. Some others are trying to bring the intention to our music, and so it's quite interesting.
Initiatives are very important.
Yeah.
We all agree about
Yeah.
it. And I think it's very important for every person to be an initiative person in his family, in his community, in his school, and whatever he does. I think it's very interesting to be a leader of your community, a leader who leads this initiative. We have seen some of the initiatives that somehow are active in the community, and to be honest, we just call the others also to be somehow active like them, so they can do something positive for the community, which they can the community to be somehow honored of them. So tell me about one of the initiatives that you do, as long as you encourage others to do the initiatives.
Okay, so one of the I have participated in several initiatives recently, and I can mention one of them. One of our friends, a researcher who was doing a research, whose name is Renas, was doing a research for British Library, and the project was supported by EMKP, Endangered Material Knowledge Program, and part of her project focused on the traditional hats that's made from felt or wool, and it's very common, and it's a very it's a common part of our culture, especially Joanna tribe. I worked with her as a translator, and I was also arranging meetings, and I was identifying people and locations for the interviews. And so this was one of the great projects, since it's going to show our part of our culture to the globe, and to everyone who would have a chance from everywhere around the world to visit British museum. And one of the other projects that I can mention is Sinjar Home. And this project was found by a filmmaker and photographer whose name is Yad. I traveled with him to Sinjar last year, and we visited Kocho village. We took pictures of many ruined houses, and he used these pictures to open an online photo exhibition, and people can buy the photos or even donate through that website, and the fund or the money that's collected is spent on those returnees, those people who return to Sinjar and whose houses are partially ruined or collapsed. So they use this fundraising to support them, to get, for example, a window for their house, or a door, or whatever other construction work needed.
These initiatives were very important, and were very very helpful for the community and for the community, to be honest. So Mr. Alaa, about the new, the modern or recent stuff that have been happening in our reality, one of them is about artificial intelligence. So I will just link to the initiatives.
Okay.
This program that was happened, of course it was an initiative by a person.
So exactly.
How can you just think about the way that the AI is being used by people, of course, which it has the positive and negative consequences on it, and people are just using in a good way, somehow in a bad way, somehow What do you think about it? Is it good for the students, for the people, for the families inside the families, inside the? I can tell you, even with the organizations, some of them they do the projects, do the reports. Like it makes the work for some of, like I can tell you, most of the people like easier. But don't you think that somehow it makes the people somehow like more difficult when it is used like in a negative way?
Yeah, sure. I totally agree. Like, it's a two-edged sword. Like, it can bring about good impacts and at the same time like bad ones. So if we partially rely on AI, it's gonna be like a great assistant. Like I can mention some of the examples. For example, if I want to do a presentation or if I want to talk about a topic, write an essay, I can just type to have some suggestions which topic are good. Like and in this way, I can have a help. It's gonna respond me quickly. But at the same time, like if I try to get an entire essay from ChatGPT, for example, then which is possible, I can get it, but this is gonna have a lot of impacts on creativity in the long run, because imagine like it doesn't give you the time or space to think to think as a human being how you can connect your ideas, how to express your ideas, how to have I can say like how to have a paper that's product of your mind. So if we partially rely on AI, it's gonna be AI, I mean, like it's gonna be a great assistant. But if we completely rely on it, then of course it will have a lot of impacts. Yeah,
definitely. So AI, that the people like the AI tool that is common right now in the community, which is ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, by the way, there are, I can tell you, more than 100 tools of AI.
Exactly, yeah.
And we don't have that of knowledge about it. We don't know how to use it even.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it's very important to know, like, what is the real benefit of the app, of the tool, so that you can get that benefit from, and then whatever. So don't try just to copy and paste that. I think
exactly, yeah.
This will impact the work that you do. So like we all agree about the negativity or the negation of the AI, of the like new recent like technology, including social media. We all agree about the way that social media platforms are used by the people. Like people are threatened, people are just like using it in a bad way. What do you think about it? Like social media platforms, which is a topic which is literally linked to the AI as well.
Yeah, so social media, from my perspective, I can say like it's a new product which people have addicted to.
Yes, by the way, which platform do you use more?
I mostly use Instagram.
And do you use Snap and you send
no
streaks
at all
and this stuff?
At all. I don't like the idea of the streaks and so on, because so but Instagram is also not that better than by the way, not that better than Snap. So they all have the same impact. So if I'm using the Instagram, it doesn't mean like it's not going to impact me if I don't use it in the correct way. So most people are addicted to social media. Like when they wake up, like once they open their eyes, the very first thing they do is picking their phones and checking the platforms, reels, and also like many people stay until late times searching different I don't know, like using different platforms. So of course it's a time consuming, and most of the people I can say like they are addicted to it, and they cannot live 1 hour if their phone is away of them.
Mhm.
So of course, like it impacts studying, it impacts work, it impacts like a routine of the life. So
Sure.
yeah, so for me, like yeah, and even I myself, I'm not saying like I'm using it in a perfect way, but it's just I'm trying to balance it, like yeah, not to overuse it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
So I'm with you that every person has to use it in a way that how he needs, like so using social media
Yeah,
and use the browser or the internet, like generally.
yeah,
So we all agree about the negativity of the platforms, like all of them. I can't tell you, and I can like specify for you which one, but I can tell you like most of them.
yeah.
I would ask you like about your like real message to our youth, to the Yazidi youth, and in general, the
Yeah,
Iraqi youth about
yeah.
the using internet and using like AI, and what's your also like include that about the importance of the initiatives to be implemented by the youth. I would be so happy, and also people want to know
Okay.
and how you encourage them as a person who has been doing somehow initiative in the community.
Yeah, so this point, I can argue it from the perspective of like my work or my area, in from which I have observed like different generations, not generation, I mean different classes of people. When it comes to social media, I would like suggest like really to balance it, like a healthy style of life would be like getting enough sleep. This is one of the things like most of us would struggle to achieve, and social media is one of the reasons like we stay until late times watching reels and texting, and yeah, so minimizing the time spent on social media would help that to have a like better schedule and healthy style of life. I mean, yeah, so that's gonna greatly help. The other thing is for our youths, like from my job that I have been doing currently, I would say like they are not trying hard enough. Yeah, so in which way, like if we compare the youths of this time, like the youth class of nowadays with the youth class of 10 years ago, then we will see like there's a significant improvement. There's a lot of development. Like we have thousands of people with diploma or bachelor degree, and hundreds of master degrees, and this is in a term of education, it's a great improvement. Like we have like a lot of initiatives, active people in the community, but yeah, the point I want to mention about this is they have to try harder outside their formal education. It's right, like we have many graduates, we have many people who are certificate holders, but I feel from my side like they do the education because it's a formal course. They have to finish it, they have to complete it and graduate it, get certificate or work somewhere. So outside that, I like see like majority of them don't put enough effort to improve themselves. Like there are hundreds of resources available, YouTube and we can say Google, AI platforms, and many other tools that are available. You can learn anything, learn a new language, develop your skills in your field, whether you are a nurse, a doctor, an engineer, or translator, or whatever job you do. Like I see like people don't try hard enough outside their the circle of the formal education. So yeah, you can learn music, you can learn like many other talents. Yes, like you have everything accessible and easily, like from your room at home. You can stay there and have access to any courses, any training. So it's just like you need a bit of will to start to take the first step. So I would say like they need to put more effort when it comes to education that's not formal or skills that are outside the frame of formal education.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So to just mention and just to think about it, that when we were at their age, like our generation, we didn't have like this thing provided for us. We didn't have that good internet. We didn't have like the tools of AI, the other stuff that like for now everything is with you. Whatever you want, just like Google it, just go YouTube, AI, whatever you want, and everything will be provided in seconds, not even in minutes. So it's very, actually it's a big difference between like the last generation and like nowadays generations. So we all agree about the importance of these things in our community. And again, thank you so much, Mr. Alaa. You were with us for today's episode, and it was very helpful for us just to know about the importance of the initiative in the community, and also about your opinions about the using of AI and the other platforms by the community. We came to the end of our episode, Mr. Alaa.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for being with us for today's podcast. So
the pleasure is mine. It was really amazing to be here, and I'm grateful for the chance. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for providing a little bit of your time for us.
Thank you.
And here we have come to the end of our episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation that we had between me and Mr. Alaa, and see you for the next episode.